Hey, you guys remember this level? No, of course you don't. It's the most forgettable thing of all time. Allow me to refresh your memory. It's ass. Completely unrelated question. Did you know it costs $100 to put a game on Steam?
We've all had that dream game. That game we made up in our heads that's perfect in every way that we just were never able to make a reality. Usually this is because coding a game is hard work. It takes a lot of effort to make a game work, and a lot of people give up when presented with such a daunting roadblock. But not me. I single-handedly made the best game in the history of gaming, and I'm going to show you how. It all started back in February. I had just beaten Shape of the Sun, don't ever do that by the way, and I had nearly complete deterioration of the brain tissue. After about 6 months of recovery, I, the fool that I am, decided it would be a good idea to expedite the destruction of my sanity by learning how to develop games. I started by watching a series of tutorials and taking a lot of notes on how the language of the engine I was using, Godot, worked. And then, at the end of this series, we applied everything we learned by making a simple, easy, and aesthetically tolerable 3D game.
Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, you should know by now that I don't do simple, easy, or aesthetically tolerable.
The tutorial is by GDQuest, by the way. It's a great tutorial and the link will be in the description. I follow this tutorial almost perfectly until we get to the point where we add in the models for the mobs and characters. Now, there were models provided, but these look way too normal and this won't inflict nearly enough anguish on the soul, so I won't be using these. Instead, I'm going to directly rip the Geometry Dash assets for my icons and take a screenshot from Shape of the Sun and put it in the background. Next, I'm going to take this stupid dumbass toilet car I made for this thumbnail for Shape of the Sun and replace the mob model with it.
But Redwire, if you want to post this game on Steam, you can't directly rip assets from another game. Shut up. Die.
But also, that is entirely correct, so I'm instead going to take the assets I borrowed from Geometry Dash and redraw them as poorly as possible in Paint. And there you go, baby, perfect models for your perfect game. Now I just need to readjust the hitboxes to account for the models, and oopsie, this one's sideways, oh well.
But Red, that's absolutely terrible. You suck as a developer, and no one's going to want to play this game.
I finished the tutorial with a few minor changes to the game's aesthetic, and the core gameplay of the game now functions properly. But wait, I can't hear anything. There's just deafening silence, and we can't have that.
So let's just pull up the good old web browser here and find some sound effects to add to our amazing and functional game.
Perfect, but the game is still deafeningly silent when it's not broken by the screams of the tormented souls trapped within the toilet cars, so we need some music.
Now, of course, I'm not going to make the music that bad. It obviously needs to be tolerable to listen to since the player is going to be hearing it the entire time, and no one would want to play something with music that is just horrible.
Alright, so with the music out of the way, the game is finished. There's just a few issues though. 1. The game has no pause menu. 2. The game has no main menu. And 3. The game has no built-in button to close the game. Now for the first problem, I cannot tell you how long it took me to get this stupid pause menu to function properly. For some reason, it just wouldn't work half of the time. There were a bunch of layering issues with the code. I had to follow like 12 different tutorials to figure out the problem. Eventually it worked, and as you can see, we have a resume button, a restart button, and a main menu button. I think this took like 2 or 3 weeks to finish or something like that. I don't know, man. It was painful. I'm tired. I have crippling depression. Anyways, now that we have a pause menu, we need a main menu, because right now, this little button right here does exactly nothing. The main menu was a little easier to implement. I just had to make a new scene that had buttons that either started the game or closed the game. Easy stuff, took me like 30 minutes. After I'd finished all that stuff, I noticed that whenever you died or killed the toilet cars, they just kind of vanished. Lost to the endless void between time and space, never to see the light of salvation.
I didn't like that. I wanted them to die. Painfully.
So I used Godot's built-in little particle system thingy to create particles for both explosions and the movement. For some reason, after a while, this little cube's explosion particle stopped working properly. I don't know why, and I'm not going to fix it. But now there's a bunch of particles, and the toilet cars now explode into a billion pieces.
At this point I was thinking, okay, this game looks like ass, which is intended, but what if I made it look more like ass?
So I applied a toon shader to literally everything I could think of and applied this world shader that was way more CPU intensive than it should have been. and now the game looks 10 times worse than it already did. And with that, the game's basically done. Let's just get some people to playtest it and see what they think. They absolutely love the game. Now the question is what to do with it.
I could put it on a site like itch.io, but that wouldn't be nearly stupid and pointless enough.
So I went to Steamworks, gave them my social security number, paid them $100, and got to work putting my game on Steam. Now the first step to putting a game on Steam is to get the Steam store page ready. As you can tell from the current state of the store page, I took this step very seriously and put maximum effort into it. The next step was to make a trailer for the game.
Now, I'm no expert on making gameplay trailers, but I'd say I did a phenomenal job. Now that that's done, I just need to upload the actual game files. Now, I'm sure, for a platform as large and widely used as Steam, they have a streamlined, simple, and straightforward way to upload your game to their platform. Hey guys, it's me, Rational Redwire here to talk to Steamworks. You're an asshole and I hate you. Please die.
As it turns out, uploading your game to Steam is a stupid, moronic, tedious process that is way more complicated than it should be. Instead of a button, selecting some files, and uploading them, you instead have to download some stupid-ass API thing, edit a bunch of text files, change numbers that are physically impossible to find ever, run a bunch of code, get 16 errors and a bunch of empty depots, try again 15 more times, realize after the 27th Google search that you mixed some weird contrived syntax garbage that makes no sense at all, try one more time, and finally, get your game files properly uploaded. Anyways, after all of that, I can finally submit my store page for review and... Oh.
Now I'm gonna be honest, I wholeheartedly expected them to reject this store page, as it's quite possibly the stupidest thing on their platform. What I did not expect was for them to reject it because I got a bunch of photo sizes wrong. Okay, well whatever. I'll just change the sizes and resubmit them.
Oh. Okay, so apparently my trailer doesn't have any mention of a Steam release. Slight oversight, easy to fix, now I can resubmit. After all of that, they finally accepted it. Now I just have to wait until the previously specified release date arrives and I can release my game. However, when the release date did arrive, I was informed that they would not let me release it because I had to wait at least 2 weeks after it was visible as coming soon and 30 days after the first purchase of an app credit.
Okay, I sort of get it, not really. But why did you allow me to set the release date before that?
Anyway, a few more days and the app was up on Steam. Go play it, by the way. The link will be in the description.
So, that should be the end of the video, right? Wrong.
I wanted more. I wanted glory. I wanted power. I wanted an Android release. 2 weeks have passed and it's time to get to work on a button and a joystick.
Now all I really need to do is remap some of the movement keys to a joystick, which shouldn't be too hard. Hey guys, Rational Redwire here again. I was wrong and I hate everything.
So as it turns out, joysticks are not easy to make. Half the time, it just wouldn't work. And when I finally found a tutorial that did, the movements were completely restricted to the diagonals for some reason. Unfortunately, because I'm extremely lazy and I couldn't care any less, mobile players are just going to have to deal with it. Adding a jump and a pause button were really easy and there wasn't much of a problem there. So now that we've got the controls finished, it's time to test it on Android. You just need to... That easy. It actually wasn't that easy. I spent around a week trying to get that to work. So now we just need to launch the game and play it. I said, play it. Dude. That's your cue to play the game. Bro! Okay, so the game won't launch, so I had to consult the help of my uncle, who works with Google by the way, he's super cool, to help fix it. We went through a bunch of tedious debugging, which included making an on-screen indicator that told us if something wasn't working properly. After a while, we figured out that the game couldn't load the main scene on Android for whatever reason, so I made a copy of the main scene and began deleting the objects in it one by one. Eventually, I figured out that the audio stream players were the culprits of the crash. Don't bother asking me why, I have absolutely no idea. So after deleting all of these and replacing them all with audio stream player 3D nodes, which just makes the audio sound like inaudible garbage, the game now functions perfectly. Now, unfortunately, in order to upload the game to the Play Store, you have to be at least 18 years old, so it won't be available there for at least a few months. However, I will have a direct download link for the Android version in the description. Overall, I put way more effort into this than I needed to. The game is absolutely garbage, but it's funny. You should go play it. This took me multiple months to make, and I hate myself. Thank you for watching this video. As you can probably tell, my setup has exponentially improved from the last video. I got a GoPro to record this on now instead of some weird conspicuous tower that my garbage C922 webcam rested on. I've got an actual microphone to do this with instead of a fake mic and a Blue Yeti that's 5 feet away from me barely picking up my voice. Oh, and I also got this new green screen set up instead of having the green screen lazily tacked to my wall. But yeah, this video isn't sponsored by anyone, but check out my merch. We got new Shape of the Toilet Rim merch in the store, along with a plethora of Darth Mogus merch. I also recently bought my amazing shoe design, The Voices Are Getting Louder, and they're surprisingly good for what they are. They shouldn't be good. They really have no right to be. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching, and never do this ever.